Hi, what's up? Hello. Now, for the past couple of months, my reading has been so heavy with, thrillers and horror and things like that. So I've been kind of neglecting a couple of other genres on my shelves, and I find myself sort of in the mood for a contemporary. However, I have no idea what contemporary I want to read. I have like roughly 2 shelves of contemporary, and so the types that I prefer are not like the light, fluffy, cute. Every once in a while, those are good. I prefer things that are like heavier, hard hitting, that kind of thing. So, that being said, I see these all the time and I've never done one before. I've never done like a try chapter. And since I really don't know what I want to read, I figure doing a try chapter is going to be like a decent idea. So that's my goal. I'm gonna actually like do a try chapter today. I think I'm gonna pick 5 books maybe and do a try chapter, see how I feel about each of them, and then pick one based on my first impressions. So I've never done this before. This might be a big fail. I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. All right, so I have picked out 5 books. One thing that I noticed is I'm pretty sure all but one of these authors is actually non-American, which is great, and 3 of them are women, which is also great. First book that I decided to pick up is Purple Hibiscus by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I read Americana for Contemporary-a-thon earlier this year. I enjoy her writing very much. She's an author that the way that she thinks and the way that she writes really makes you think about certain things, especially as a white person and an American at that. So I did enjoy Americana, though I know some people didn't. So I am interested to see how I feel about this. So this is one we're going to start with. I tend to not read synopses. However, yes, Darren. Come on. Come see Mama. Darren had to come say hi because he has to come sit with his moms. Everybody can see your butt. Come here. It's my Darren. So he's probably going to sit with me while we do this. Y'all are going to be able to see his butt, not his face, so that's cool. But I usually don't read synopses. I just like read the book. However, for the purpose of this tag, we're going to go ahead and read the synopses. In the city of Enugu, Nigeria, 15-year-old Kambili and her older brother Yaya lead a privileged life. Their papa is a wealthy and respected businessman. They live in a beautiful house and they attend an exclusive missionary school. But, as Kambili reveals in her tender-hearted account, their home life is anything but harmonious. Her father, a fanatically religious man, has impossible expectations of his children and his wife. And when her loving and outspoken aunt persuades her brother that the children should visit her, Kambili and Yaya take their first trip away from home. Once inside their aunt's flat, they discover a whole new world. And when they return home, they're changed by their newfound freedom, tension within the family escalates, and she must find the strength to keep her loved ones together after her mother commits a desperate act. Okay, so, I said I do enjoy a hard-hitting contemporary, so I feel like this is going to be that. So let's just read. Well, first of all, let's see how long the first chapter is. The first chapter is only 13 pages, so that will go pretty quickly. All right. So this book begins with a pretty intense incident. Like, I'm so glad that you guys could probably see Darren in the background, like cleaning himself, but that's fine. So this book does be this book begins with an incident within the family, very much that's described in the back of the book. Overbearing, over-religious parent who is resistant to change, like everything has to be just so, and so there's an incident right from the very beginning. Really kind of sets you up for what the rest of the book is going to be like. It was engaging, so I'm curious to see ratings and that type of thing from friends. It has 56, almost 57,000 ratings. It has a 4.17 average rating with majority 4 and 5 star. 24 of my friends have read it. It's a 4.0 average rating. First chapter was engaging, which is not like the book that I am currently reading right now. I'm actually kind of bored with what's going on in that one. Let's go ahead and do one more real quick, actually. So this is The Space Between Us by Thrudi Umrigar. She is an Indian American author, I believe, and I read The Story Hour, I think that it was last year. I don't think it was this year. Really enjoyed that. Very, again, emotional contemporary. This one, poignant, evocative, and unforgettable. The Space Between Us is an intimate portrait of a distant yet familiar world. Set in modern day India, it is a story of two compelling and achingly real women, an upper middle class Parsi wife whose opulent surroundings hide the shame and disappointment of her abusive marriage, and a stoic illiterate hardened by a life of despair and loss who has worked in the household for more than 20 years. A powerful and perceptive literary masterwork, this extraordinary novel demonstrates how the lives of the rich and poor are intrinsically connected, yet vastly removed from each other, and how the strong bonds of womanhood are eternally opposed by the divisions of class and culture. That is honestly very much like the first book that I read by her. However, that one did take place in America, and it was more of the contrast between American women of color versus, an Indian American woman of color. And so I did very much enjoy that one, so I'm interested to see how I feel about this one as well. So this is actually a series, it looks like. It has a 3.99 average, almost 40,000 ratings, mostly 4-star, some 5-star. Okay, well, since this is the only one, let me just close this real quick and let's read real fast. Okay, well, there was a lot that happened in that first chapter. So the main character, she is an older woman, a grandmother. She has her granddaughter living with her. I'm unsure of what has happened to the daughter, but the granddaughter is pregnant. She is very young. She was in college, but now she's pregnant. Not married, which in Indian culture is terrible. So she's no longer going to college, but they are low income. And the very beginning seems to be setting the scene where they live at, and she briefly talks about the house that she works for, who is the other character in this story. So, but there are a couple of moments in this first chapter that have a lot of conflicting emotion. You talk about, you have the granddaughter who's pregnant out of wedlock, and they talk about things that other families have done in those types of situations, like how to, basically abort unwanted children, and she's thinking, well, I could do this and I could save myself all of this trouble, but, the love that she has for her granddaughter is far too great for her to do any of those things, but, they do talk about that in a very real way. And so that was definitely horrifying, but it definitely seems like if I'm wanting a hard-hitting contemporary, this could definitely be a contender. So far, both of the first chapters have been engaging and compelling. So that concerns me, because now I'm gonna read the first chapter of all of these, and I'm gonna like them, and then I'm gonna be like, I still don't know what the fuck to read. So yeah, we'll figure it out as we go. So I'm going to pause this. I still have 3 more books that I'm gonna talk about. But your girl needs to get some food, so I'm gonna do that real quick, and then I'll circle back in a little bit. Okay, so I am back. I ate some food and got a couple of things done. A couple of things being not much. However, it's my day off, and I just feel like being cozy and stuff. So hence why I'm here in my cardigan and my blanket, and we're gonna be all cozy. So I still have 3 more books that I have to do chapters for. So the next one that I decided to pick up is one of my book of the month books. This one was for May 2018. Small Country by Gael Faye. For 10-year-old Gabriel, life in his comfortable expatriate neighborhood with his French father, Rwandan mother, and little sister Anna is something close to paradise. These carefree days of laughter and adventure, sneaking supermatch cigarettes and gorging on stolen mangoes, as he and his mischievous gang of friends transform the tiny street on which they live into their kingdom. But dark clouds are gathering over this small country, and soon their peaceful existence will shatter when Burundi and neighboring Rwanda are brutally hit by civil war and genocide. An extraordinary novel of power and beauty, Small Country describes an end of innocence as seen through the eyes of a child caught in the maelstrom of history. Shot through with windows and light, tragedy and humor, it is a stirring tribute not only to a dark chapter in Africa's past, but also to the bright days that came before it. Based on that description, I am concerned with the emotion that I am probably going to feel. So apparently this is a translated work. It was originally written in French. So we'll see how I feel about it. Okay, so I can tell you I just finished the prologue, and I want to read this book. There were several lines just in that really the first 2 pages were like, oh, okay. You know, it talks about the Civil War in that country, and I kind of want to read a passage. It's a conversation with the narrator and his father. The war between the Tutsis and Hutus, is it because they don't have the same land? No, they have the same country. So they don't speak the same language. No, they speak the same language. So they don't have the same God. No, they have the same God. So then why are they at war? Because they don't have the same nose. That's, you know, flashback to childhood. And then there's a couple of pages of, you know, after the aftermath of everything, he apparently moves to France and kind of talks about his life there. Talks about him trying to form relationships with women. My technique is smooth. They talk. They enjoy being listened to. I'm drunk, deep in my cups, drowning in alcohol. I shrug off sincerity. I become a fearsome hunter. I make them laugh. I seduce them. Just for fun, I return to the question of my roots, deliberately keeping the mystery alive. We play at cat and mouse, and I inform them with cold cynicism that my identity can be weighed in corpses. Like, just, I want to read this book. I'm not even going to read the first chapter. Like, right now, this is the one I want to read the most. Like, again, it's very short, but just those couple of pages, I'm like, so far, this is it. This is the one so far. I still have 2 more to get through, so we'll see. I went ahead and picked up The Kite Runner, and I read 1,000 Splendid Suns for my non-Western Lit class a million years ago in college, and I loved that book. We had like 2 weeks to read it, and I finished it in like 3 days because I loved it so much. So that being said, I have this one and the Mountains Echoed, but this is more modern than And the Mountains Echoed, so I decided to pick this one. Taking us from Afghanistan in the final days of the monarchy through the horrific invasion of the Taliban, The Kite Runner is the heartbreaking story of the unlikely and inseparable friendship between a wealthy boy and the son of his father's servant, both of whom are caught in the tragic sweep of history. It is also about the power of reading, the price of betrayal, the possibility of redemption, and the influence of fathers over sons, of a country over men, and the sacrifices, loyalty, and lies that bind them. Set against a volatile and intensely emotional backdrop that has never been explored in fiction before, The Kite Runner debuted to international acclaim, a multiple award winner with blah, 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 blah. Okay. I know that this was made into a film as well, which I never saw. And of course, the first several pages are just like accolades and like there's a Kirkus review, a starred review, and that kind of thing. But I have always heard very, very, very good things about this. Chapter 1 is just like literally the first page. So I'll probably read the first 2 chapters because that's roughly 12 pages. So, okay. Why do I do this to myself? Because honestly, like, I want to read all of these books. So this one is another book of the month. This is The Reckless Oath We Made by Bryn Greenwood. So if you're unfamiliar, first of all, this one's fucking huge. This is, I'm gonna guess, somewhere around 500 pages. 430. All the Ugly and Wonderful Things, which I read year before last, I don't recall. And wow, that book was heavy and parts of it were really gross, but gross as in content wise, not like gore or anything. But the book itself was just really well written, and you the way that she wrote, it made you sympathize for something that you probably shouldn't have sympathized for. It was a book that gave me a lot of conflicting feelings. But it was a book that has definitely stayed with me. I actually read it on my Kindle and I bought a hard copy. And one day I do hope to reread it because I did actually enjoy it. So we're going to find out what this is about together. And this was for August 2019, by the way. Z is nobody's fairy tale princess, almost 6 foot with a redhead's temper and a shattered hip. She has a long list of worries, never-ending bills, her beautiful and gullible sister, her 5-year-old nephew, her housebound mother, and her drug-dealing boss. Z may not be a princess, but Gentry is an actual knight, complete with sword, armor, and a code of honor. 2 years ago, the voices he hears called him to be Z's champion. Both shy and autistic, he's barely spoken to her since, but he has kept watch, ready to come to her aid. When an abduction tears Z's family apart, she turns to the last person she ever imagined, Gentry, and sets in motion a chain of events that will not only change both of their lives, but bind them to each other forever in one of the most moving and complicated love stories of our time. The reckless oath we made redefines what it means to be heroic, revealing the strength, honor, and power that lies at the heart of love. That lie at the heart of love. Okay, for some reason I thought that it was like continued on the back flap. Whoops. Okay. So this is another love story, which our first book was a love story. Okay, we're gonna read the first 2 because that's the first 10 pages. So that's what we'll do. Okay. I am significantly less interested in this than I am the other 4 books. I don't know, maybe I just didn't have time to like really get to know the characters, and the backstory and that type of thing. In these books, the writing grabbed me a little bit better than this did. So I think this would be the last one that I would choose to begin. Okay. So this would be the last one. This is about to be really hard. I think the reckless oath that we made will be the last one. All the other ones are on like a really equal playing field. Like it's really, really difficult for me to decide which one. I mean, I know this is going to be the one that I pick up for sure, but I have absolutely no doubt about that. This is going to be the first one that I pick up. I was just really, really grabbed by the writing style in this, despite the fact that it's a translated work. So this is definitely one. I think maybe The Kite Runner would be second on the list. I feel like this might be the third. And then Purple Hibiscus would be the fourth. I don't know. I want to read all 4 of these like really, really badly. And I'm saying this, I am a mood reader, which we all know. But now that I have read the first chapters of these books and I'm like heavily, I don't want to say heavily, but I am like decently invested in the idea and everything around these. It is very possible that I'll read Small Country and then read the other 4 of these. Maybe I'll get to the Bryn Greenwood book. I don't know for certain, but I feel like these other 3 will also like read very quickly. So that, maybe I'll read some thrillers or something. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. But, okay. So that's the first time that I've done a try a chapter. I think that it gave me a good idea of what these books are going to be about. And it made me really excited to read them. And I've just been kind of like just randomly picking shit up here for the last couple minutes, just based on, what I felt like reading. So I am actually really pumped to read all of these. So that being said, have you read any of these books? If you have and you liked them or you hated them or whatever, comment down below and let me know. Just please keep it spoiler free because your girl hates spoilers. So yeah, I am really excited to read these. I'm also really digging the fact that most of the contemporaries that I have chosen and that I own right now are from non-American authors, and are able to give me a little bit of insight into experiences that are unlike my own. I was actually having a conversation with my favorite person last night actually about that very thing. And how our own experiences shape our viewpoints and everything, and how educating yourself on certain things is so very important. So I'm really looking forward to reading these. So yes, so these are the books that I have chosen. But have you read any of these books? If you have, comment down below and let me know what you felt about them. Please remember, please keep it spoiler free. For those of you that are, here for the horror, everybody has to have a break every once in a while. It's a thing. I am sure that once I am done with these, I will be right back at my horror and thrillers. I know that there are several on my shelves over there. I need to do a try chapter for actually some of the horror books that I have on my shelves, because so often I'm like, I have no idea what I want to read. So actually, after I finish these, I will probably, and I usually don't make TBRs, so I may not even finish these. I don't know. I'm kind of all over the place. Oh God. Anyway, okay. Like I said, if you've read these, comment down below, let me know what you thought. Spoiler free. Anyway, if this is your first time here, hi, hello. I don't read a ton of contemporary, so don't get used to that. But if you like what you see and you want to see more, you can click thumbs up or hit subscribe if you haven't already. You can also click the little bell doodad at the bottom so you can be notified of any videos that I upload. Anyway, thank you guys so very much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.